Hi, I'm Little Woo. Welcome to the Magic of Compassion. And the question this week that I've just received is about separation anxiety, when you have to go away from loved ones or they have to go away from you, and how a person might lose themselves in that separation. And if we look at the term separation anxiety, we can see that the first thing, the separation, is the trigger. That's the triggering event that leads someone to feel the second part, which is the anxiety. So it's a very specific type of anxiety triggered by that event. Anxiety being a feeling of fear or worry, deep concern, and these are all things that can be very legitimate. So it's not about saying that the anxiety is not real or that the situation is not real. It's just about finding ways to handle that kind of situation. And sometimes it is something that we exacerbate with how our mind is functioning around that separation. So a couple of things that hopefully will help is to first look at what is the type of separation that you're dealing with, and what kind of fear does it trigger for you. And usually, if it's around separation, there's a feeling of safety that was created by this loved one. They might have been helping you with something, or maybe they help you feel loved and safe and understood. So when they provide all these higher needs for you, what are those higher needs? And so if you look at those needs, that's maybe something you can do that's really practical and say, okay, what is it that I feel when I'm with them that when they're gone, I'm concerned or anxious about losing? And so then you can really look at it in a very clear way and say, oh, those are all the things that help me feel safe, help me feel loved, and then how can I, in my own way, even when they're not there, learn to, or find ways, creative ways, to feel these things or receive these things from within myself or from other people in my network, from my community, so that it's not resting on them only. And if we talk about on a level of love, then there's so much love in this universe, there's so much generosity, that if we start to tune into that and realize that there's so much more that's available to us, resources, love, kindness, that's not just through that one person, that can help alleviate some of that separation anxiety from who we perceive to be the source of our safety and love or resources. And of course, some such scenarios I'm aware of are very practical or very real, in which a person might be ill or might have very limited resources at that time in their life, and so they feel a little bit more vulnerable, and that totally makes sense. But even in that place, there is a place of power that we can find, and that power is in trusting in your connection with others and with the universe, that what you seek, if you know what you seek, then you can, ask others for it and ask for help, ask for love, in terms of, if you want people to visit you or if you want to connect with others, make that move. It's not only available through the previous source, and also finding it within yourself. And that's part of obviously this is a very general question, and hard to address sometimes when I'm not going to, identify a certain person around this. But in that case, there's another layer of, finding within yourself all the things that you are seeking from this person that you're having that separation from. And that separation might be temporary or long-term or permanent. And those are the things that you celebrate and love and appreciate in that relationship. And those are the things that you can cultivate and bring more into your life through many, many channels. So separation anxiety often comes from this idea that what we need or want is only going to be available through this one channel. And that's very limited feeling, and at the time it can seem very real that that's the only place that this kind of love and support can come from. But as we open up our belief systems and say, what I'm seeking and what I need, it can come from myself and can come from so many different avenues. So going from singular attachment to this particular scenario or person to realizing that all that we seek can come from the community at large, from the universe at large. There's so many other creative ways that this energy that you seek or the support that you seek can come to you. And that takes a lot of trust, and it takes a lot of kind of looking out in the world for examples of that kind of caring and that kind of environment that you're seeking, and not making it separate from yourself, that, oh, those are the lucky ones, or those are the ones that get to find that. It's that if you see it out in the world, it's evidence that it does exist. And this is a very important concept to embrace, that what you imagine, on some level, others have imagined or desired. And as long as you imagine and desire, it means that there's a means. There is a way for that to come to you, and that's part of the creation process. So if you're yearning for more loving support, start putting that out there and start speaking about it. Then it's amazing the generosity that's out there in the world, that you will receive a lot of the things that you felt was only possible through one relationship or one scenario or one job. And even when our resources feel really tapped and limited, we either face the fact that, oh, we've got no other means, or we can be really creative and open and go back to that place of saying, this is an abundant universe and there's so many creative channels. Let me tune into some alternative channels so that I can draw in and create something new if something old has come to pass, or what was before is no longer possible, or there's a break. Maybe this separation is only temporary, but during that time, how can I inhabit a space where I'm open to new possibilities and new people in my life and new channels, or maybe people that are already in my life that I could invite into my life in a different way. So it definitely opens up the opportunity to be really creative and really believe in the goodness of humanity, that you are not alone, and that people want to help. And sometimes it's about that trust in how we ask and how we present the need that we have, so that it's not already with the sense of, oh, you're not going to give this to me, or not, this is too much to ask, or I feel guilty or ashamed. So if we remove the shame, the guilt, or the fear, or the projections, and just say, I want to trust in the goodness of others, and I want to trust in my own capacity to express and to attract and to create all the things that I'm feeling that I need to experience or want the support that I need, then this really, it's a powerful kind of, it's a powerful position to take. And it can be hard when we feel disempowered by the separation. So that's really the main process, is to re-empower yourself, so that you don't feel like a victim, that you don't feel alone, that you don't feel like you've been abandoned, or that there are very few options. There are so many options. This is the time for creative and compassionate inquiry. So I hope that this is going to be something that will inspire you in times when you feel like you're short on resources or short on opportunities, or that someone has left your life and you feel vulnerable or unsafe, to ask for help, to put it out there, to trust that if the first person doesn't have the answer or the resources, that you can keep asking, keep looking, and then trust that it's also within you, that you have a lot of the answers, that you have a lot of the power, and that you can co-create and collaborate with others, so that everyone gets something from this wish that you have. Because usually something that you need is something that others need, and there's a mutual reciprocity and benefit in putting our needs out there. Lots of love today from Trout Lake. Mwah. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're curious about my one-on-one sessions, workshops, or online classes, visit littlewoo.org. Lots of love.